Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Vedic astrology coach, Red Kapoor, and welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. And in my channel, I make videos on Vedic astrology. I talk about transits. This is the monthly transit update for the month of October 2025, where I'm going to give you a visual representation of your chart based on your ascendant sign or the moon sign, and talk about most important planetary updates, the shifts that are happening, and how you can prepare and make the most of the month of October that is most likely bringing some optimism in this world. For Aries ascendant signs or the Aries moon signs, at the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So, in the month of October, there are a number of developments that are happening. Okay, firstly, I'm going to talk about Jupiter, but till 17th of October, Jupiter is going to be making a last leg of transit in the sign of Gemini, which is in your third house, where it is Maran Karak or it's a death-like position. Jupiter rules your ninth house and the 12th house. In 12th house, there is already a retrograde Saturn that is making a transit. So we must read Jupiter's transit along with Saturn's transit together. Saturn's also very soon going to be changing nakshatras. Jupiter on 18th of October is going to be moving in its exaltation sign or the Uttarashi in Cancer, which is bringing in renewed optimism, where Jupiter now will be in a yoga for a brief period till 5th of November. Now, between 18th of October till 11th of November, it will be exalted and also direct. Then it goes retrograde, and 5th of December, it moves back to Gemini. So, within the month of October itself, second half, it's an optimum time for you. Now, if you also notice that second half of the month, Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Jupiter all are placed in your quadrant houses or the Kona houses. Quadrant houses become important for us because we call it Ayana in Jyotish terms. These are the pillars of your life. These houses rule four Ayana, which is the Dharma, Artha, Kama, as well as Moksha. All right. So your decision making is going to be very strong between 18th of October till mid-November. That is where I see as an opportunity time period for you. So Jupiter is going to expand the matters related to fourth house, which is your happy space, comfort space, home related matters. It is going to create expansion. Any assets you want to probably deal with, any property related matters, real estate related matters, vehicles, and of course, a general sense of happiness at your home. It is bringing in positivity, a renewed optimism. Now, Jupiter's aspects are very beneficial when it is in exaltation. All right, it will have very powerful fifth aspect and the ninth aspect, and it is momentarily making Saturn your 10th lord positive. So, work environment is going to improve, your work related opportunities are going to come in case your dasha antadasha is supportive. So this is definitely a forward looking transit for you because Jupiter is in yoga and it is increasing your spiritual capacity as well. Jupiter is in the fourth house, Saturn's going to be in the 12th house, and they're making a sambandha by the virtue of Jupiter aspecting Saturn. So it's going to make you more spiritual because this trine that Jupiter is aspecting or making a connection with is your 4, 8, and 12 trine, which is the moksha ayana or the moksha trigon. And that is something which is elevating. Now your Lagna Lord is making a transit in the seventh house. Towards the end of the month, it will also enter the eighth house, move into a slightly complex position, but still a good position because it will be sitting in its own sign of Scorpio. Mars in seventh house is Maran Karak. So, of course, it does have an impact on our self esteem, our confidence, our ability to make decisions. But momentarily, it is now being getting the support of Jupiter, which will be quadrants from Mars towards the last leg of transit of Mars. But yes, you can look forward to certain things with regards to those people who are opposite to you, your relationship with your spouse, or of course, if you're trying to step into new relationship. Your seventh house will have a three planetary conjunction. This is happening post 17th of October when Sun enters the seventh house. Sun is also weak in the seventh house. Mercury is also weak in the seventh house, and Mars is also weak in the seventh house because Mars and Mercury they are Maran Karak. Sun is the significator of Lagna. He rises in the east. This is the western direction. So Sun also feels a bit weak. So there is certainly some difficulties, complexities that you might have with regards to relationship matters. Enhance your communication, bring in a sense of loyalty. You have to channelize this energy because Sun and Mars are creating too much fire, too much Agni, and this is in the sign of Libra. So you'll be very hyperactive post 17th of October. Your energy level would be very, very high, extremely high, and that could cause some temperamental issues. So maybe one advice would be to keep your mouth shut. And of course, when needed, please speak up, but unnecessarily avoid any quarrels, any arguments. Think before you speak. Do not end up being reactive because Mercury is going to be enhancing the impulsive quotient. Mercury is very quick, Mercury is very impulsive. So, this is where you have to be careful because at the same time, Venus, who is with Ketu, is going to be moving later in its debilitation sign in the sixth house, right? So the significator is also in a weak position. It's causing a Viparita Yoga, though it is Marankarak, it is losing its signification. Your work matters are likely to progress, but your relationship could struggle a bit. And so could your health and well being because Venus's transit in the sixth house is, of course, going to give you mixed results, but you need to have a greater focus on your health and well-being by focusing more on your lifestyle. Avoid extravagance, avoid overindulgence, continue to strengthen Jupiter. Surya, first half will be in the sixth house. It's a positive transit, will help you overcome competition. Second half will give you mixed results because Surya is going to be debilitated. When your fifth lord is debilitated, the future might look uncertain for you. And it is not achieving cancellation or debility here, right? So, relationship matters, business related decisions you should avoid. But personally, you will still feel good. It is good for you to engage yourself in spiritual practices, right? You will feel confident, but at the same time, the impulsive drive can make things slightly difficult for you. Continue to do remedy for Jupiter and offer water to Sun first thing in the morning. That is something which is a must do throughout the month of October. Taurus ascendant signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So the month of October is bringing big shifts. I have a representational view here of how the transit chart looks like, more or less in the month of October, what you can expect, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and how you can navigate through the month of October. All right. One thing that you have to be mindful of as being a Taurus ascendant at the physical level is your decision making. So that could be weak because your Lagna Lord throughout the month of October is either under affliction or it is weak. So you might not be confident about taking those decisions. There will always be a doubt. There will always be an uncertainty. And first week of October, you might be also prepared with some sudden events, right? Suddenness, sudden changes for you to step out of your comfort zone. Because the Lagna Lord Venus initially till 9th of October is going to be conjoined with Ketu. So it has come in very close contact with Ketu. Venus is also your sixth lord. So you have to take care of your health and vitality as well during this time. It's sitting in your heart chakra. Though Venus gains direction strength in the fourth house, it is in a good house, but in a not so good sign. And this is where you have to have an understanding of this transit because Ketu is trying to create a separation. Venus and Ketu bring spirituality in relationship, but when the spiritual quotient is very high, the relationship becomes directionless because Ketu's direction is either upwards or downwards. So you need to ensure that in your home, within your family, within your comfort space, you should have a direction. Where are you heading? What is the end goal in mind? And you have to continue to remedy Venus throughout the month of October, which is worship Goddess Lakshmi, Durga, Shakti, any of the female deity. Now, 9th of October, Venus will enter its debilitation sign in Virgo. For 2 weeks, Venus and Mercury will have an exchange yoga or a Parivartan yoga. But this Parivartan is between the 5th and the 6th houses. It is going to give you mixed results. So momentarily, Venus will have some support between 9th October till the last week of October. But thereafter, when Mercury will move to Scorpio, Towards the end of October, you have to be careful with regards to your future planning, with regards to your decision making, and all the other aspects. Because even when Mercury moves to Scorpio, it is getting niche bhanga, it is getting cancellation. It will be a little bit supportive for you to make decisions. At least you will feel more confident at that point in time, right? A Parivartan yoga doesn't necessarily lead to a niche bhanga Raj yoga. It could lead to niche bhanga, all right, but it does not elevate its quality. This is something which we must understand. What does this mean? This means that Venus will momentarily behave as if Mercury is sitting in the fifth house, and Mercury will behave as if it's Venus sitting in the sixth house. Still, it will be detrimental towards your relationship. And your personal relationship is something which you have to protect at any cost during the month of October. Things could be sensitive, particularly when Mercury, Mars, and Sun, three planets, are conjoined in your sixth house, which is going to cause some confusion, some sort of this is the house of conflict. And for you, Mars, Sun is inimical to the Lagna Lord Venus. Mercury is friendly, Mars is neutral. And Sun are Agni planets, fiery planets, are in the Aries sign. So this will bring strong opposition. This is the house of conflict. It could bring conflicts in your life. As long as you exercise every day, you keep yourself hydrated, you try and stay active, you try and stay consistent with anything that you're doing, you could have a good transit. After 18th of October, Jupiter is entering your third house. It will be aspecting the seventh house and the 11th house by the fifth and ninth special aspect, also your ninth house. So it is going to increase the sense of desire. All right. So that is supportive for relationship, especially when you're married or if you're looking forward to stepping into a new relationship. Towards the end of October, early November could be a good time period for you. Jupiter is being supportive. But most importantly, the blessing that you have is that Jupiter is going to be aspecting your Yoga Karaka Graha, Saturn, who's making a very good transit in the 11th house. So expect some very positive developments with regards to your job, with regards to your work towards the end of October. But till then, you have to have greater focus on your health, on your vitality, because this time period can call for hospital visits, something to do with stomach or the below area. You have to be very careful. You have to manage your lifestyle and get yourself checked. Stay vigilant, take the necessary precautions. Jupiter's very beneficial aspect on the retrograde Saturn is going to elevate work possibilities for you. Possibilities of success, possibilities of recognition, promotion, any sort of incentive or a financial increase by your efforts. You can have some opposition at work with regards to people who hold an authority, but you should be in a position to overcome that. But this month, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. You are trying to up your game, right? Most importantly, look up to Saturn, who's the Yoga Karaka and the Graha of the month for you. And of course, your Lagna Lord Venus. Read Sri Suktam on a daily basis, particularly on Fridays. Use a Lakshmi mantra, worship, and of course, look up to the deity associated to Venus. You can also use the Bij mantra of Venus to give it strength. And all remedies that are associated to Shukra, you can do that based on your current time period which you are running. Bhagya is going to be supportive, so this is where it is also bringing some sort of protection. And any delays that you're seeing, now you will probably see some progress that is towards the end of October, and my best wishes for you. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So, what is happening in the month of October? I'm going to give you the most important planetary transits. Here is a representation view of the chart and how the transit looks like so that you can get a view in the most simple yet elaborative manner, talking about specific things. So, your Lagna or Chandra Rashi is ruled by Mercury or Buddha. Mercury, though, initially will be in its exaltation sign in Virgo, thereafter moving to Libra. Majority of time, Mercury will spend in Libra in the month of October. So we're going to focus on this. Though later, towards the end of the month, it will enter Scorpio in your sixth house. Now, interestingly, there is an exchange yoga that is happening after 9th of October between Mercury and Venus, which is a yoga karak parivartan yoga for you, because this involves the fourth and the fifth law. When a quadrant house and a triangle house is involved in parivartan, that is most auspicious. So I do consider Venus, who would be in the ninth, or would be the fifth house on 9th of October, which is a Yoga Karaka Graha for you, that gains direction strength. So Venus will be acting as if it's Mercury sitting in the exaltation sign in Virgo, and Mercury will be acting as if it's Venus sitting in the fifth house in its own sign of Libra. So your level of confidence after 9th of October, in spite of Venus undergoing some affliction, all right, because see, first week 10 days it will be with Ketu, so you have to channelize your sense of desires. You have to have some spiritual practices that is mandatory for you. Journal. So, in order to remedy this, to help support Venus come out of this affliction, you need to journal. You need to respect the women in your life and do some charitable work towards women, towards the opposite sex, because Venus is also your 12th lord. So, you can work towards, do anything, any charity work towards women, towards children, right? Have a sense of compassion there. Thereafter, Mercury and Venus's Parivartan is most auspicious for you. So I would expect between 10th of October till the last week of October for a period of little over 2 weeks for your confidence to be absolutely high, for you to build meaningful connections, long lasting networks, especially with people at work, because Venus will be making a direct connection with your 10th house, where the ninth lord Saturn is there. So, Saturn and Venus will be in a mutual aspect, they will be looking at each other. Venus has a Purna Drishti, which is 100% aspect on the 7th house. Saturn doesn't have a full aspect, but while it is retrograde, it has high desires. So, the Saturn behaves as if it's in Virgo. So you could very well link to this phenomena as a Venus Saturn conjunction because they have mutual synergies during this time, right? These are very opposite forces. So expect some work related developments or some developments in your personal life at home. Either you will renovate, either you will change places or make some significant developments at your home. In case you don't have a plan, I would advise you to declutter your house and also declutter your office space, your working space. This is something which could be quite essential for you. Saturn is going to be in another beneficial aspect. So your Bhagyesha, firstly being aspected by Venus. After 18th of October, Jupiter enters your second house and Saturn is also under the aspect of Jupiter. So it has two positive aspects and that too on your 10th house. So any delays with regards to work related matters, contracts, agreements, any offer that you were expecting, any movement that you were expecting, second half of October till mid-November, you should be in a position to close out on those deals, on those contracts in case your Dasha and Dasha is supportive. Because currently Venus in the third house with K2 is causing an obstruction in paperwork matters. All right. Now, Mercury and Sun, your Lagna Lord and Surya, are forming a yoga in the fifth house. So, month of October is very good for learning. There's a Buddhaditya yoga. That learning should be linked to your future progress. So, learn about the futuristic approach, how you can probably elevate yourself in future. All right. This is something which is a very clear message. Use mantras related to either Mercury or Venus. Beach mantras will be very good for you, excellent for you, or you could use a Vishnu mantra, that is Om Vishnave Nama, throughout the month of October. Your 10th Lord and the 7th Lord, Jupiter, is making a transit in the second house. So when 10th Lord is in the second house, that is a Simhasana Yoga. So that indicates positional success, positional rise. I would expect this positional rise to fructify when Jupiter will make a proper transit. But this time period, it could bring some optimism in your case. Now you also need to be careful because Jupiter becomes the Badakesh. So it could bring major obstacles as well, right? Complex problems as well in your life, which you have to navigate. Look up to Ganesha. Have a Ganpati Yantra, a Ganesha Yantra in your place of worship and worship it every day to help you overcome these obstacles. Because you will come across with very strong, influential people and you might be in a less dominating position there. So this could be a little bit uncomfortable for you, and this is how you need to deal with these energies. Even in spite of reaching a position, you would feel that you lack the power, autonomy, or empowerment. And this is where you need to navigate. Take care of your food, bring positive changes in your lifestyle, in your diet. That is also a very good remedy for you in the month of October. Cancer ascendant signs or the Cancer moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. The month of October is bringing many positive changes and, of course, certain challenges as well. And I'm here to help you navigate through these challenges. Here's a representation chart for your Lagna, for your ascendant, or the Chandra Rashi. And one thing is quite certain that, the second half of October, post 17th of October, when Surya enters your fourth house, makes a conjunction with these other two grahas that will be there, Mercury and Mars, a three planetary conjunction. Surya and Mars, Sun and Mangal are making a conjunction and a yoga in your fourth house during this month. And after that, you can expect quite positivity in your decision making because on 18th of October, Jupiter also enters your Lagna where it gains directional strength. So your ayanas or the Kendra houses, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is very supportive, especially the Dharma ayana and the Moksha ayana, which is the fourth house or your comfort space. So your decision making is going to be quite right. You will be comfortable in deciding. You will have confidence. You will have, the fire in your belly, and of course, you'll have wisdom in your brain, right? In order to channelize these energies, in order to make some of the best decisions of your life. Because Jupiter is bringing the power of wisdom in your Lagna. Jupiter is your ninth lord and also the sixth lord. It rules the house of Bhagya, where there's a retrograde Saturn making a transit, of course, causing some obstruction to your Bhagya as well, because Saturn becomes the eighth lord. Jupiter is also the sixth lord. And after 18th of October, Jupiter will be aspecting, looking at this Saturn. Saturn will also receive a beneficial aspect of Venus. So, two gurus aspecting your ninth house is elevating your Bhagya, elevating your fortune, making things a little bit favorable for you. So, if you work hard, there is a greater chance that luck could favor you, circumstances or situations can favor you to get some positive results, and making this shani positive for you for a brief period of 2 to 3 months, wherein you can make the most of it. Jupiter gains direction strength in the Lagna. It is going to be aspecting your fifth house, seventh house, and the ninth house. In seventh house, it is only one fourth aspect, right? But in the fifth house, it is 100%. In the ninth house, it is again 100%. All right. So these are very powerful aspects. It is activating your Dharma trine. I mentioned this in my previous video as well. It will make you take the right decisions, do the right things. So many planets are either in your quadrant houses or trinal houses, which makes not only you to be more confident, but at the same time, it helps you to take some of the good or best financial decisions as well, especially after 9th of October, because till 9th of October, Venus and Ketu have made a yuti in the second house, though Venus is in a Dhan Yoga. All right. But after that, your efforts are going to see some results. You can do some financial planning. You can take some long-term investment related decisions. You can manage your finances. You can, of course, leverage the power of your decision making as well. Because any investment decision that you make post that, you have a higher chances of a good return that you could probably fetch in the long run. Mars or Mangal, who's a Yoga Karaka Graha for you. Mars become Yoga Karak because it rules a quadrant house and a trinal house. Mangal, who's sitting in your fourth house, continues to make a move here. Towards the end of the month, it will enter your fifth house. And Mars rules your fifth house and the 10th house. It rules two Rajya Bhavas. These are the houses of kingdom. This is where the throne sits. Okay. And when a trinal lord is in the Kendra house, it does form a positive yoga. And Mars is connected to the second lord sun. They're both forming a yuti. So there's a lot of fire in the home because fire in the home would mean that a lot of fiery energies are there during the daytime for you. Because this is also the daytime, what you do during the day. All right, so you have to channelize these energies. Make sure that you keep yourself hydrated. Make sure that you take care of your diet because you could have some gastric or certain issues which have an imbalance because there's a high Agni Tattva involved, which is there in the heart chakra, which could cause a bit of an imbalance situation. All right. And this is where you have to be a little bit cautious. And this conjunction involves your 12th Lord Mercury. Get yourself checked, take care of your health, take care of your vitality. Remember that Jupiter is also your 6th Lord. He rules the health and well being, though Jupiter gives protection when it's sitting in the Lagna. And it is forming a Hamsa Mahapurush Yoga in the Lagna. It does not have any malefic influence here, right? This is quite an ideal time, but it could bring minor health issues as well. Weight management could be a challenge, stomach related or heart related issues could be there. You have to take care, and of course, avoid sweets, particularly sugar, refined sugar in your diet. Venus is going to be entering your third house, which will increase your sense of desire with a mutual aspect of Venus and Saturn. So you have to channelize your desires accordingly. Protect yourself when it comes to relationship matters, right? When it comes to your priorities in life, you would be quite good when it comes to communicating with other people. You would be nice to them. You need to keep your ego aside because when Sun and Mars make a yuti, that too in Kendra, with Jupiter also being in Kendra, we feel a sense of dominance, that we have good knowledge, we have potential leadership qualities and very high energy as well. So we're naturally in a dominant position. So this is where it could lead to conflict with others because of your ego. So as long as you keep your ego aside, especially in relationship matters, you will have a good time. And my best wishes for you. Leo ascendant signs or the Leo moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant, the Lagna. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So here's a representative view of the chart for you for the month of October based on key transit positions. Transit need to be read from the dashas that you're running. So predominantly the dasha planets, you will read the transits accordingly based on the connections that they make with either the ongoing transit or being connected with your natal planets that are involved in dasha. All right. So now in your case, there is some good news here because after 18th of October, when Jupiter will enter, when Jupiter is going to enter Cancer after 18th of October, that is a time when your Lagna or the ascendant will be under Shubh Yoga because there will be Venus in the second house and Jupiter in the first house. So you are under great protection. In spite of you feeling low or isolated, or of course, any issues with regards to confidence, you have good protection, you have good decision making capacity after 18th of October. And this is going to last till early November. So it's a good phase for you for taking any major decisions in your life because there is good protection and for you to feel better as well in case you felt low in terms of energy or if you've had issues with your personal life that is going to fix, that is going to solve for between this time window because of the Shubh Kartari Yoga on your Lagna. Now initially Venus and Ketu are conjoined in your ascendant. Venus is your 10th lord sitting in the ascendant. It will bring in some work related developments, but it is also under the affliction of Ketu. But here Ketu is overpowering, it is good for you because Ketu is your 4th lord. Venus becomes your 3rd and the 10th lord. It's more of a neutral planet. But Ketu becomes favorable. Ketu is generally good with Surya because both of them are of the same element, which is the Agni Tattva. Venus is Jala. All right, so that makes things difficult. Now, on 9th of October, Venus will enter your second house, which is creating a Simhasana Yoga, which can give work related progress on elevation. And for a brief period between 9th of October till 16th of October, Venus and Sun are in a Yuti. So any work related progress can happen during this time in case your dasha and the dasha is supportive or you could attract a new opportunity towards you. You could probably apply for new jobs or if you're looking for a change or if you're planning to start something new, In spite of Venus being debilitated, it will be in an exchange with Mercury, the second lord. So second and third lords are in exchange. It's a nice Parivartan Yoga. It's not bad because it will ensure that from an efforts point of view and from financial support point of view, it works good for you. So Sun is being supportive with Venus. And this also brings positivity in relationship matters. Venus and Sun are very good for, married people. Any yoga or positive yogas that they form in any conjunction or even mutual aspect, right? Thereafter, your Lagna Lord Surya will enter the third house. Though it does very well in the third house, but it is in a fall position. It is debilitated in Libra. And it is not attaining Nicha Bhanga during the month of October. Early in November, yes, when Venus will move to Libra, it will achieve cancellation of debility, but till then it is not. All right, so you have to take care of your levels of energy. Though Surya will help you to ensure that you have resources in terms of any efforts that you put in life, but at the same time, you will not be very sure. In spite of having confidence, something will happen at the last minute which could cause some sort of obstruction here. All right, so this is where you need to be careful. Look up to Mars, who's Yoga Karak Graha for you, because Mars is making a very good transit with Surya. That's your fourth lord and the ninth lord. Rules of quadrant house and the trinal house. And Mars is the Karaka for the third house. So, briefly, Surya is under good support from Mars, which is giving it support for a few days. So, exercise, eat right, and do any things where your hands are involved. You could lift weights in the gym, you could work in the kitchen, you could do gardening, you could do any activities where your hands are involved. Jupiter is elevating your spiritual quotient after 18th of October because it is going to be activating the 4, 8, 12 moksha trine for you. All right. Being the 12th lord in the 12th house, it's a Viparita yoga, but that's a short transit. Right. Now, the Viparita yoga here is very interesting because some female energies or some women in your life can be of benefit to you, regardless of your gender. So if you work with, female or women, so it's a greater possibility that they might be the reason for your protection. And if you're a male native, so maybe your spouse could be responsible to bring some protection in your life. But increase your spiritual sadhana, spiritual practices during this time. Use a Dwadash Akshari mantra related to Lord Shiva, Om Namo Bhagavate Sada Shivaya, in order to channelize these energies and sail through this time. Virgo ascendant signs or the Virgo moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this transit updates from the ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. I'm going to talk about the most important planetary transits and how you can make the most of the month of October. Here is a representative view of the chart so that we can make this, video more interesting, simplified, yet elaborative. That is the way I like to do things. So, your ascendant or Lagna is ruled by Mercury. Mercury, though, initially will start a good month for you, being exalted in the Lagna. Thereafter, it will move in Libra. And most of the time in October, Mercury will be in Libra. So I'm just considering this as the predominant factor. Though towards the end of the month, it will move in Scorpio. But here, when Mercury moves in Libra and thereafter, later in the month, there'll be a three planetary conjunction in your second house with the 12th Lord Sun and the 8th Lord Mars. Mars is also your third Lord. All right. But Mercury is having a dominance in this three planetary conjunction. It has a greater say because, firstly, it's in a friendly sign. Surya is going to be debilitated. Mars is more or less in a neutral sign. Mercury is the friendly sign. And Mercury is involved in an exchange yoga with Venus for a period of 2 weeks. All right, so I would expect the first half your decision making to be positive, to have some sort of positivity, to help you take some good decisions in your life. All right. Relationship matters could be a little bit concerning, especially the first week, 10 days, wherein Venus and Ketu are conjoined in your 12th house. Shukra for you is your ninth lord, and it is also the second lord. So it plays a very important role in financial matters. It is good for spiritual pursuits. It is going to make you a lot more spiritual in nature. It could bring some foreign travels as well, some long distance journey for you to connect with foreigners, for you to connect with other people, people from different cultures, to go to a place where maybe you might feel isolated initially, okay? But this will increase your spiritual quotient, and this is something which you have to look forward to. Venus thereafter will move in your Lagna, though in debilitation, but this is in an exchange yoga with Mercury. Venus will also be in a mutual aspect with Saturn after 9th of October. Saturn's retrograde, Venus has a 100% drishti on Saturn. Saturn also has a strong aspect because when it is retrograde, it has a strong aspect on the Lagna. So your ascendant is under great attention during the month of October because there are energies of Venus, which means interaction. It is it is going to make you more open, more interactive with others. And at the same time, Saturn is bringing the power of discipline. It is bringing in discipline, and at the same time, it is bringing a sense of eloquence. So you will be very conscious of any steps that you take, the way you interact with others, the way you speak to others, right? You would avoid any isolation and come out in the open. It is a good time for you to socialize and build on your professional as well as personal network. Because what is also happening that 18th of October, Jupiter is entering your 11th house. Now, this transit could be a little bit complex. See, because Jupiter gives good results at the Monday level in the 11th house, placed in the sign of Cancer. But Jupiter is also Badikeshwari. It is the Lord of obstacles. And the basic principle is when it is strong, it will have the capacity to bring in obstacles as well in the more strong manner. It could bring opposition. It could bring strong enemies. You could face authority issues. Be careful when you're dealing with people who are seniors, who are influential, who hold some sort of authority because they might try to suppress you. It is going to give you very good financial results. If you're looking for financial goals, financial results, Mercury's transit is favorable, Venus is favoring you, and Jupiter is favoring you. But it might reduce your mental peace. This is what I'm trying to derive. However, Jupiter is also having a ninth drishti on retrograde Saturn, who is your fifth lord. And Venus is also having a seventh drishti. This is very good for all relationship matters here, the second half of month. Because Saturn is ensuring discipline if you face any coldness, any obstruction with regards to relationship matters. Now that is going to strengthen. You're going to be more loyal, you're going to use your brains, you're going to use your power of knowledge in relationship matters, in business decisions, in case you've had some delays in making some transactions, delays in payments. Now things will start moving forward because Jupiter is having a blessed aspect on Saturn. Jupiter also has an aspect on your third house, which is a 100% aspect here. So your 3, 7, 11, this trine, which is the Kama trine or the trine of desire, is going to be very active after 18th of October, and this is where you need to channelize your sense of desire. And at the same time, Venus is going to be in the Lagna, which again is increasing desire. In spite of it being debilitated, it is in Kendra, it is in a Parivartan Yoga with Mercury, which is a very strong Dhan Yoga. Financially, I don't see much of a challenge in the month of October. But you will face opposition. You will face very strong and strong-headed enemies. This is where you need to continue to look up to Saturn, and remedy Venus. Use mantras related to Goddess Lakshmi or Lord Shiva. This is how you will make the most of the month of October. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon signs. At the physical level, you would read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So this is the transit update for the month of October. And here I'm going to give you a clear, detailed view with the representative chart, giving a view of the planetary placements in terms of transit and what you could expect through the month of October. Now you must realize the fact that your ascendant lord of the ascendant, which is Venus, because you're ruled by Shukra, Firstly, till 9th of October, it is in a Yuti with Ketu. Though Venus in the 11th house gives very good results at the mundane level. But due to its strong connection with Ketu, a very close degree conjunction, Venus also becomes your 8th lord. It could trigger some sudden events because Ketu is all about suddenness. Nodes indicate sudden events in our life, and Venus is also in a mutual aspect with Rahu. So the first 10 days you have to be slightly careful because this is where some of your decisions can go wrong. This could cause a detrimental impact on your relationship. There could be some quarrels, argument, or some sort of conflict with your friends because this house also represents conflict. Besides representing the material gains or the material comforts of life. Because Ketu is a very non materialistic graha. Venus is a Rajasic planet. So this is where there are opposite energies. Now on 9th of October, Venus is going to move in your 12th house. It is causing a Viparita Yoga because it is the 8th Lord in the 12th house. So circumstances could go adverse by the virtue of some feminine energies, support of some feminine energies. You are likely to rise from this transit. You will have more clarity, you will be more self aware because the Viparita Yoga, where your Lagna Lord is involved, it will help you become more self aware. So gradually you will start building confidence through the month. And then on 17th of October, when Surya is entering your Lagna, where it is the Naisargic Karaka or the significator of the ascendant, in spite of being in debility, it will still be in a good position because he's the significator of this house. So you must worship Lord Shiva for the entire month between mid October till mid November. It is going to be very good for you. Sun will be conjoined with Mercury, who gains directional strength in the ascendant, and that's your ninth lord making a transit in the ascendant. Most of the time, Mercury will be in your Lagna in the sign of Libra, and during 2 weeks of time period, Mercury and Venus will be involved in Parivartan Yoga. This is also a time wherein your expenditure will rise after 9th of October. So you have to be careful for 2 weeks. Try and reduce your expenditure. Try and not be impulsive about this expenditure and try to leverage this on the right things. As long as you expense on yourself, your family, on your dharma, on the right things, good deeds, it is good for you. Otherwise, it could be detrimental for your well being. Mars and Sun are also in a Yuti, and this three planetary conjunction, Mercury has a greater say because it gains directional strength and it is in a friendly sign. So, definitely, fortune is going to be favorable. And after 17th of October, Jupiter will also enter your 10th house on 18th of October. This is also the time when your confidence will rise because there are many planets in Kendra or quadrant houses, which are the four ayanas, the Dharma ayana, Artha, Moksha, and Kama. So it will promote good decision making, it will make you feel confident, and of course, any new ventures that you were to start after 18th of October, you can do it. Jupiter is one of the significator of the 10th house, and this transit is going to bring in expansive work opportunities for you between 18th of October till 11th of November, when it is also direct and in exaltation, and post that it goes retrograde, and December it will re-enter the sign of Gemini. During this time, Jupiter is aspecting Saturn, who is making a transit, a retrograde transit in your sixth house. Saturn and Venus will also be in a mutual aspect. Jupiter is also aspecting Saturn. So it has two positive aspects. If you've been facing any health related issues and you've not been able to see the solution to your health related problem, now you are going to see some positive development here. You could expect positivity in terms of your lifestyle, in terms of your health. Saturn is a Yoga Karaka planet for you. In the sixth house, Saturn does very well in terms of transit and also in terms of placement because he is the significator of the sixth house. Now, there is great benefic influence that is there on Saturn, which will ensure that your health and vitality would improve, which could also promote new, bigger, better job opportunities because we see job from the sixth house and 10th house also has a favorable transit of Jupiter. Jupiter is also aspecting your second house by the ninth special aspect. So it is going to improve financial developments, financial prosperity. To channelize these energies, you use the Shani Bija, that is simply Om Sham in your daily prayers or in your meditation to channelize this appropriately, or use a six syllable Vishnu mantra, that is Om Vishnave Namah, in order to make the most of this time and these energies as well. Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from the ascendant. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So here I'm going to give you an elaborative view of the month of October in terms of the key transits. And this is going to be quite detailed because I'm giving you a representational view of the chart for the month of October in terms of transits and how it looks like. Let us begin with your Lagna Lord Mars, who rules your ascendant, the Lagna, and also the sixth Lord. Mars becomes the ruler of yourself, your body, your vitality, immunity, who you are, and also the sixth Lord of deaths, diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, and your sense of routine in your life. Mars rules your routine and is making a transit in the 12th house. Towards the end of the month, you will have some very good progress because Mars is going to enter your ascendant. But most of the time, it will be in Libra. During the month, there will be a three planetary conjunction in your 12th house with Mercury, Sun, and Mars. Sun will enter on 17th of October. Sun gains Maran Karak position, or it's a death-like position in the 12th house, wherein second half you would expect resources not to be so much favorable for you. This is where free will needs to be the focus of the hour, wherein you will take things in your own hands, and of course, you will increase your self-awareness with this matter. Now, the three planetary conjunction, Mercury holds a greater say because Mercury is in a friendly sign in spite of being in the 12th house. So, this could increase unnecessary expenditure in your life and some sort of confusion. You also have to watch your sleep because there could be some sleep related issues that you might face. All the three planets are certainly connected to your sixth house. So, take care of your health, your vitality, your immunity, and try to stay low key. Resources, if they're not favorable for you, you need to still channelize your energies. There's too much fire in the 12th house. 12th house is also your indulgences, your spirituality is also seen from the 12th house. So, any spiritual practices, if you indulge yourself in, then you will see the benefit side of it, right? Wherein any practices that you will have, you have the opportunity to become consistent with your spiritual practice. Now, Sun here is also your 10th Lord. 10th Lord initially will be in the 11th house for the first half. So, first half, you're getting very good support of people at work, of authorities, of your bosses. But second half of the month, there could be some conflict. You could get some new challenging assignments wherein you lack resources and you have to work independently and you have to take some tough calls. So, it is going to put you slightly in an uncomfortable position from a work standpoint. Now, what is also happening is that 18th of October, Jupiter, Devguru Brihaspati, who's your fifth lord. So, 18th of October, it is going to enter your ninth house after moving from the sixth house. So, in the ninth house, it's an exaltation sign. It is a trinal lord making a transit in the trinal house, and the second lord making a transit in the ninth house, forming a very nice sun yoga or a wealth yoga. All right. And this is a forward looking transit for you. So I would expect your finances to eventually improve. But more so, it will give you the capacity to take the right decisions from that are driven by your knowledge. Because your knowledge is going to increase, your wisdom is going to increase. Jupiter is aspecting your Lagna by the fifth special aspect. All right. And it is also aspecting the fifth house by the ninth special aspect. So it is activating the 1-5 trine, the Dharma Trikun, the path towards righteousness, taking the right decisions, taking the right calls at the right time in life. You have good protection. In spite of things not working your way or having any health issues, you're still under very good protection. Now, most importantly, this Jupiter will be aspecting Saturn sitting in your fifth house. Saturn could bring some obstruction when it is making a transit in trinal houses, but it is blessed under the aspect of Jupiter. It will also receive the aspect of Venus, which is again a beneficial aspect. So your fifth house is under great protection. So future decisions, future planning after 18th of October, put all your attention and energy in future planning and goal setting. Right? Venus, though in debility in the 11th house, could cause some conflict, some issues with your friends, some unnecessary quarrels, lack of interaction with people of the opposite sex, probably some unwarranted issues with your spouse as well. So this is where you need to stay low key. From a relationship point of view, not the most ideal month, but working on yourself, self development, self improvement, and future planning, it is a good month. For your children, in case you have children, they could see some progress. If there have been any delays with regards to matters pertaining to children, now you will see some progress, some development. They could have some achievement as well. In case, of course, their charts are supportive and the time period is supporting here. You have to look up to Brihaspati, Jupiter, use a Guru mantra, Om Guruve Namah, 12 times. Do that every day to channelize these energies because this itself is a very positive transit for you and may it bring renewed energies and great protection in your life. Sagittarius ascendant signs or the Sagittarius moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So what is happening in the month of October? I'm giving you an elaborative view, yet keeping things very simple. Here's a representative chart for you, which will give you a view of the planetary connections, the transits that are working for you, and what you would expect in the month of October. So see, the first half of the month, I would expect your decision making to be good because Jupiter is making a last leg of transit, firstly in the seventh house, and then it will enter the eighth house on 18th of October. All right. There are a number of planets in the Kendra or quadrant houses in the first half of the month, including Surya, Saturn. So your decisions will have confidence, will have rigor, will have vitality, and of course, you might be in a much more comfortable position, right? Thereafter, on 18th of October, Jupiter is entering your eighth house, which is the house of suddenness. It promotes longevity, it promotes health and well being, it promotes you to overcome your weaknesses because we see Nija dosha from the eighth house. So it is time for you to overcome your weaknesses. Though Jupiter is in its exaltation sign, it is Ucha Rashi. Regardless of your dasha, antadasha, prasanta dasha, your Lagna Lord's transit will always be important for you. It can trigger major life events. So, of course, momentarily it will put you out of comfort zone. But this Jupiter's transit is bringing and enhancing your spiritual quotient, spiritual knowledge, your research ability, and your ability to deal with adversities in life. See, adversities only come to those who have the capacity to deal with those adversities. And since he's your Lagna Lord, he will never have a dosh of the eighth house. So your 4, 8, 12, the axis or the trine of spirituality, moksha, is pretty active. Increase your spiritual sadhana. Look up to Shri Hari Lord Vishnu. Om Namo Narayanaya could be a wonderful mantra or a prayer for you towards Shri Hari, towards Narayan. This will help you deal with some adversities of life. Now, what is happening is Jupiter's aspect on the fourth house, where there is a retrograde Saturn. So, a retrograde Saturn has a very strong aspect on your 10th house, helping you to deal with career related matters. Venus enters the 10th house. Momentarily, it will have a yoga with Surya. Surya gains directional strength in the 10th house. So, the first half is much positive for you for work related decisions, for life related decisions, or for any progressive matters because there's a dharma karma yoga that is very much active. And on 9th of October, Venus enters here. All right, so they make a yuti, and Venus will be in a mutual aspect with Saturn, with Shani. So your fourth house has the benefic aspect of Jupiter as well as Venus, which will ensure that you stay comfortable. So after 18th of October, for a few days, I would expect you to be in a comfortable position. All right, this is how you could read these energies. Now, there could also be a chance or a energy shift which will make you focus a lot on your personal life, on mindfulness or things that are near or dear to you, your safe space, your happy space, your home. your comfort life, your sense of protection is going to increase. All right. This is how you will read this transit. Jupiter also has an aspect on your second house, but that's a very mild aspect. Three planetary conjunction in your 11th house. That is happening after 17th of October when Surya, your ninth lord, will enter the 11th house. Though in its debilitation sign, but it will still give very good mundane results. Venus and Mercury are in an exchange or a Parivartan Yoga. This Parivartan Yoga is between the 10th and the 11th house, which is mostly auspicious for work related progress. Receiving incentives, bonus, some sort of financial increment could be on the cards in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Sun is in a Yuti with Mars. Both rule your trinal houses. Mars is the fifth lord, Sun is the ninth lord. Fortune is favorable for any financial matters. It's a very strong or a powerful Dhan Yoga that is there. You have to continue to strengthen Mangal. So, this is where you worship Lord Vishnu, you continue to strengthen Mangal. Mars is making the last leg of transit in Libra. End of the month, it will enter your 12th house, where it will, of course, cause a Viparit Yoga in transit. Your Moksha Ayana will be very much active at that time because Mars will be under the aspect of Jupiter towards the end of the month. Okay, but before that, it is making a transit in the 11th house, increasing opportunities for you for gains, for starting a side income or an increase in your income, a betterment in your finances by the virtue of it having a yoga with the 10th Lord Mercury and the ninth Lord Sun. So the fifth lord, ninth lord, and 10th lords are forming a yoga in the 11th house. So I do expect work to have significant developments. With some opposition, with some issues that you might face initially, you are going to prosper eventually, and I wish you the very best. Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So what is happening in the month of October? I'm giving you the most detailed analysis based on the representative chart here. Very elaborative, yet keeping the things quite simple for you to understand. Being a movable sign of the Chara Rashi, I expect the month of October, your level of confidence to be a little bit on a higher side. All right, for you to feel more confident about the things that you do, particularly in the second half. The reason for this is that there are going to be a number of planets in your Kendra or quadrant houses. Particularly 7th house will have Jupiter that will enter here on 18th of October. Right? And then there'll be a three planetary conjunction post 17th of October where you see Mercury, Sun, and Mars. All right. So your decision making to be right because especially your 7th house and the 10th house, which rules the Kama Ayana and the Artha Ayana, your relationships and also your work to prosper. There is a sense of protection which is there on your lagna, on yourself as well. There will be high sense of desires and for you to channelize these desires. So some development, betterment in terms of relationship matters and also in terms of work related matters. Yes, there will be some obstruction. You will have to work a little bit hard through the month. And this is where we'll begin with your Lagna Lord Saturn or Shani. That is already making a transit in the third house. In Pisces, it is retrograde. See, Saturn in the third house can give you good results at the mundane level, but it affects your sense of direction, your sense of decision making. Therefore, it is not good in the third house, right? So, it will, of course, again, give you the results related to your efforts, okay? But whether you are making the right efforts or not, whether your decisions are right or not, you have to get some guidance in order to make the most of this Saturn. Otherwise, it could probably bring, very wrong sense of desires, or probably you to just be more material in nature and very less spiritual. This could make a person self-centered. So you need to be more of giving in nature and get the right advice. That is very important to ensure that this Saturn will work towards your benefit. All right, since it's your Lagna Lord, it will ensure that any effort that you put, you will see results. Now, after 18th of October, your Lagna Lord is under the benefic aspect of Jupiter and also the benefic aspect of Venus. So, Jupiter is aspecting Saturn, and Venus and Saturn are in a mutual aspect after 9th of October because Venus will enter your ninth house, though in debility, but still making a transit in the ninth house, conjoined with Sun. Venus is Yuti with Sun in the ninth house and Jupiter exalted in the seventh house will strengthen your relationship. Before that, you would face some challenges, you would face some issues, but eventually this is going to strengthen your relationship or bring new relationship in your life. Saturn, your loving lord, being in the benefic aspect of Venus as well as Jupiter, makes me believe that second half of the month your decision making is going to be positive because Kendras are supportive and your loving lord is getting some good guidance, is under good protection by the virtue of benefic aspect. There's a three planetary conjunction in your 10th house where there is Mercury, Sun, and Mars. Mars gains directional strength, Sun gains directional strength in the 10th house, and Mercury is the Karaka or the significator of the 10th house. And in this transit, in this conjunction, Mercury holds a greater strength. So definitely you will look up to Mercury because he's in friendly sign and he's also the Karaka. And that's your ninth lord making a transit in the 10th house. There is an exchange between Venus and Mercury, which is a Dharma Karma Adipati Yoga or a very powerful exchange. So between 9th of October till 25th of October is an excellent time for you to make work related decisions. Anything that you probably need to ensure that should be prosperous for you because thereafter Mercury will enter the 11th house, but you have to maximize. So if you've been trying to apply for new jobs, look for change, this is the time window for you where you do have the capacity to maximize. Jupiter is activating your Kama trine 3, 7, 11, which is the trine of desires. So desires will be anyway on the higher side, but you need some guidance, you need some direction in terms of where to head, what part you need to move, and some bit of creativity as well. Because when Venus, your fifth lord, is involved in an exchange with Mercury, you need to be creative in your approach. Think out of the box and maybe have a differentiated approach. Maybe you might have some issues with your CV. Be more visual, be more present. Try to build connections with other people. Build your personal as well as professional brand. It is an expansive time period for you, right? You will feel more confident and more comfortable at the same time. This is where you will continue to strengthen Mercury. That could give you phenomenal results in the month of October. Look up to Lord Vishnu, chant the Bij mantra of Mercury, and may you have positive results coming your way. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon sign. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. The month of October, what is it bringing for you? I have a representative view here in terms of the chart, some planetary positions, what you could expect based on the transits, and you will link these transits based on your ongoing dasha that you are running. So let us begin with your Lagna Lord Saturn or Shani. Shani is your Lord of the Ascendant and also the 12th Lord. So it rules yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are. And it is also the ruler of the 12th house of losses, expenditure, your higher self consciousness, your ability to be more self aware. This Saturn's been making a transit in your second house. It has been going retrograde or Vakri, trying to fix your personal priorities because it has some focus on the previous house and also seventh from its position, which is the eighth house, trying to help you overcome some adversities in life by the virtue of discipline, by the virtue of hard work, by the virtue of your efforts. Now, what is happening on 18th of October? Jupiter is going to enter your sixth house, where it will give you some good health, good vitality, promote healthy living, and your lung lord will be under the benefic aspect of Jupiter. So that is happening later in October, and also it will go through till November, end of November. All right. Now, during the same time, Venus will move in Virgo on 9th of October, and Venus is also in mutual aspect with Saturn, the 2-8 axis. So Saturn is under double beneficial aspect between 18th of October till early November. So you will feel more confident, You will feel more healthy, you will feel more good, your decision making is going to be strong. Any financial decisions pertaining to your family, to your expenditure, that has a direct link to yourself, you should be taking during this time because you will be more confident. Shani will also gradually prepare for a direct motion that will happen later in November. But this is one time you should start preparing for a little bit fast-paced life. Because Jupiter's transit in the sixth house is going to increase the pace in life. It is going to be very demanding when it comes to your daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Jupiter is activating your Arthur trine. 2, 6, 10. Time to work, time to put your actions in place, time to manage your finances and also your duties. It has a very beneficial aspect on the 10th house, which will promote new work opportunities, better work environment, and support from people at work if you're already in a job or if you're already working or if you do some sort of business. Now, on contrary, we also need to understand Venus's transit. First 8 to 9 days, Venus is conjoined with Ketu in your seventh house. Venus is the significator of the seventh house, but it conjoined with Ketu somehow gives complex problems when it comes to people opposite to you. Because Venus and Ketu bring spirituality in relationship, and when there's spirituality, it becomes directionless. So as long as you have a direction, clarity, where you are heading in your relationship, it is good. Otherwise, it could become problematic. On 9th of October, Venus will move in the 8th house, where brief period it will be conjoined with Sun or Surya. All right. So what is Shukra doing here? So Shukra has the knowledge of Mrit Sanjeevani by the virtue of blessings of Lord Shiva. So it does relatively well in the 8th house. Now it is debilitated. Being debilitated in the 8th house by default cancels the debility. It is not a Raj Yoga, all right, but it is cancellation of debility. There is also exchange between Mercury and Venus. That is the 8-9 exchange. Not very auspicious. It is going to give you mixed results. But during this time, Venus definitely is supporting your Lagna Lord if he is not doing anything else for you. So continue to remedy Venus. Worship Goddess Lakshmi. There will also be Deepavali in the month of October. So make sure that you make the most of these energies. There's a three planetary conjunction in your ninth house that you will witness post 17th of October. When Surya enters your ninth house, Sun is one of the Karakas, significators of the ninth house because he represents Dharma. Mercury, Mars, and Surya will be in conjunction, where Mercury holds a greater say. Sun is also good in spite of being in its debilitation sign. Mercury and Surya are forming a beautiful Bodhayata yoga, so you should go for higher education. Professional education or formal education is something which you should eye for. I mean, depending on your age, where you are, and of course, if you have some higher education pursuits, circumstances, situation could be favorable for you. There is too much fire in the house of your dharma by the virtue of Mars and Sun placed there. Mars is also your 10th lord. Later in the month, it will enter your 10th house. So, second half is making career related circumstances favorable for you, professional opportunities, newer work opportunities. Because when Mars will enter a 10th house, it will be aspected by Jupiter. All right, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars will be in trines to each other. Okay, which is a rare scenario to have. So, this is where you need to maximize this opportunity. This will only happen when Saturn and Jupiter are in trines, which will happen at this point in time. So, of course, it is a very progressive work related transit for you. Pisces ascendant signs or the Pisces moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So I'm going to give you a representative view of this chart for the month of October to give you a detailed analysis of what you can expect in the month of October, keeping things simple yet very elaborative for you. So what's happening in the month of October? So firstly, the first half of the month, your decision making is going to be strong because till 17th of October, Jupiter is here. Thereafter, on 18th of October, it enters your fifth house in the exaltation sign. So there's going to be a number of planets in the Kendra houses because Mercury will also be present initially here, then it moves to Libra. Most of the time, Mercury will be in Libra in the month of October. So decision making is going to be a bit better in the first half of the month. So this is where you can maximize because Shani is also going to be in the Lagna, though Maran Karak, but it'll be in a mutual aspect with Surya, who is your sixth lord. So Jupiter's transit is very important for you because that becomes your lord of the Lagna, the ruler of the ascendant. On 18th of October, it is entering its exaltation sign in the fifth house in Cancer, which is a very auspicious transit for you, though a short transit because he is the significator of this house. He is your Lagna lord. He also rules one of the Kendra houses or quadrant houses. In fact, two quadrant houses. First house is also the quadrant as well as trinal house. And it making a transit in the trinal house is a yoga. You could have chances of positional rise, coming into a power or an authoritative position or some sort of authority. Jupiter is going to be free from any negative influence away from the aspect of Rahu. It will be aspecting your Lagna and a Vakri or retrograde Shani sitting in your Lagna and also your ninth house. So your 159, the trine of Dharma, the path of righteousness, doing things right, is absolutely active for the next few weeks for you to take some of the best decisions in your life. There is good protection on your ascendant. If Saturn has brought any delays, now things will start moving. See, firstly, there is the Jupiter's aspect on your ascendant, which is a positive aspect. Venus enters Virgo on 9th of October in your 7th house. It will also be aspecting Saturn and your Lagna. So your Lagna is under great protection afterwards. Between 18th of October till early November, it is a good time for you to make some decisions, focus on your health, vitality, immunity. Though first 8 to 10 days of the month, you could have some health related issues because Shukra is forming a Yuti and a close conjunction with Ketu. So take care of yourself and there could be a hospital visit or get yourself checked up. Right, there are a number of planets in the sixth house and also in the eighth house that could bring some adversity. So you have to focus on your health, your vitality till 18th of October. After that, you do have some great sense of protection during this time. Venus, though in debility, it will be conjoined with Sun for a brief period. It is the Karaka of the seventh house. So it is going to improve your relationship by teaching you some lessons. So, due to some hardships, by overcoming your own adversities, you will improve your relationship. Venus and Mercury are going to be in an exchange. 7 and 8 Lord exchange. Not the most auspicious, it is going to give you mixed results, right? But still, it will give you the capacity further to deal with adversities in life. Let's look at Mars, who's the second Lord and the ninth Lord, making a transit in the eighth house. Mars will enter your ninth house towards the end of October. So I do expect gradually things to improve for you. But this three planetary conjunction, where Sun is debilitated or niche in the eighth house, it is attaining cancellation. But there isn't a positive yoga or a Raj yoga that Sun is having. Now, Mercury's transit in the eighth house will reduce obstacles for you because Mercury is your Bhadakesh. It is under the influence of Mars and Sun. A lot of fiery influence which is there. So it will help you reduce obstacles, but increase your spiritual sadhana, increase your spiritual practices because you would face some sudden situations, suddenness in life. Bhagya is not the most favorable for you. So instead of fortune, you have to focus on free will. You have to focus on your self identity, your own decision making. The pace of life will increase later in October. If you've experienced slowness or some sort of slowdown, now things will pick up the pace. If there are any delays that you've been facing at the work front or in personal matters, now you will see the momentum. You have to channelize these energies. Take care of your health. Your health should be the number one priority in the month of October because there are some adverse circumstances or situations that you have to deal with. Venus initially will be in a Viparita Yoga, circumstances could go adverse. Mercury, Mars, and Sun will be in a Yuti after 17th of October in your 8th house, which will bring adversities. But if adversities will come to you, you will have the capacity to deal with these adversities. 6, 8, and 12 houses have maximum energies, but you have the great protection of great Jupiter, which is your Lagna Lord. So, in spite of adversities, you will have the capacity to come out in flying colors. Look up to Jupiter. Use the Bij mantra related to Brihaspati or a simple Guru mantra that is Om Guru Namah or a Shiva Panchakshari that is Namah Shivaya in order to channelize the most of these energies. So friends, this was yet another detailed video on the month of October and what you could expect based on the transits and how you could prepare yourself. Stay tuned for more such videos on the channel. Thank you very much and God bless you all. Wishing you renewed beginnings and great positivity in the month of October.